Okay, it's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I'm joined by Bill Dobson, head brewer at Brains Brewery. Always great to be here. Love coming here, drinking the beer, especially on cask. It's so lovely and fresh. We've been enjoying some Brain Smooth and Brains Dark on the cask. Fantastic stuff. But I brought something to Bill today to try. It is my beer I brewed with Brewer Pinter. Call me Simon. So we're going to do a quick look at it. What do you think, Bill?
Well,
7% ABV, 70 IBUs, and I wanted to add some rye. That was my kind of input to the beer, with some rye.
it certainly is a complex beer. It's got a number of different levels. I mean, the hop aroma before you go in is just enticing, but it's got that real sort of that rye character that is sort of unmistakable, sort of slightly spicy, sort of caramelly type. Type notes to it.
Yeah, I'm picking up the caramel, a little bit like a sticky toffee in the aroma, yeah.
And then, wow, it's got a kick of bitterness that really sort of finishes you off. So, yeah, it's a very complex beer that, is a real one to sort of sit and savour, I think. Definitely.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I'll give you a bottle there to take away. I'm sure Bill will go and enjoy that. But the reason why we're here today, apart from Call Me Simon, is Pracownia Piwa. This is the Mr. Had barley wine, coming in at 9.5% ABV. Barley wines, Bill, what's your familiarity with barley wines?
Not great, to be honest, Simon. Really not a style of beer I drink a lot of. I prefer to drink lower ABV products more than the higher end stuff. So I'm not as acquainted with them as probably you are, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think it's based on most of the beers that are brewed in Poland. They're based on American style of beers. They've been brewing craft beer for 4 years, and I think at the moment they've based a lot of their energy on the American market. So I'm expecting an American style barley wine. But yeah, it looks pretty good in the glass. A little bit cloudy. Gives it a nice lacing. Amber colour. Let's get the aroma.
Beautiful head on it.
Sticky toffee.
Yeah, real sweet.
Yeah.
You can almost anticipate the depth of the beer before you even taste it from the aroma, really. So it's
sweet sticky toffee.
Yeah.
I'm not really getting that 9.5% ABV. It's not really kicking the eyeballs like some beers do.
No, it's got a nice balance aroma. It's not got that real sort of intense alcoholic fumes coming off it, which I think is good. Definitely good. You don't want something that's really sort of it's got too much of an alcoholic kick to it.
Yeah. Cheers.
So, cheers.
Oh wow. That's complex, isn't it?
It is, but it's beautifully smooth. Really smooth, really nicely balanced. It's not too sweet. It's probably not as sweet as it initially smells, to be honest.
It's got almost a lactosey creaminess to it, hasn't it?
Nice alcoholic warmth without it being too sort of alcoholic and overpowering. Lovely sort of malt balancing without, it's not a hoppy beer. It's based around the sort of complexities of the malt and stuff. That is really nice.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I think the only sense I've got of it being 9.5 is the warmth as it goes down. I think it's an art, really, isn't it? Like the double we brewed last year.
Yeah.
They want the big alcohol kind of kick in the mouth, but the only sense you got of it was when it went down into the stomach, when it warmed up. Yeah.
I mean,
nice
it's certainly
beer.
a really rich, thick beer.
It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely lacing.
Look at the head on that and the thickness of it. It's really coats the mouth.
Yeah, it's a sticker on the palate, isn't it? Would you say? I mentioned earlier the beers being based on American hops, would you say it's more of a British hop that they've used, or an American hop but just not too much of it?
The hops are beautifully balanced. It's not over hopped. It's not over bitter. You know, so I think if we haven't got any details of which hops have been used in there.
No,
it's certainly not a hop forward beer. It's the hops have been used to give it a nice bitterness and a nice balance that suit the characteristic, rather than pile a load of hops in and it becomes a imperial IPA really, right? Double IPA or whatever you want to call it. So, So no, that's really nice.
One question before we go. I come and brew in breweries, but really people like Bill Dobson are the real experts. How the condition of the beer? How long do you leave a beer like this in the vessels to kind of mature? Is it weeks or is it months?
It's totally going to depend on the style of beer. Some beers are, the whole part of the process is to lager them properly. So properly matured lagers, they won't develop their full characteristics unless you actually do what the yeast will mature in the maturation tank and produce and change the flavour of the beer. So it can taste quite harsh, and typically things like taste quite sulphury and things like that initially, and that will dissipate and mature to a much smoother, refined beer.
I see.
So a lot of it depends on the actual beer. A lot of it's around the yeast that is being used in terms of how that yeast actually produces the final flavour in the beer.
Okay.
So if a beer needs maturing for 3 months, it should be matured for 3 months.
Yeah.
Generally, the higher the ABV, the longer a beer will, the beer will mature almost in its finished form as well, and almost takes on that wine-like character and it's amazing how that develops over time as well through storage like that. I would say the lower ABV and also really hoppy beers, the fresher they are, the better. Because those flavours do sort of fade over a period of time as well. So the real vibrant hoppy beers, then the fresher they are, the better really. But it is amazing, especially some higher strength bottled beers, how they do change in characteristic over time. And some of the continental style lagers, really amazing. I mean, I did a beer last year, a Helles, and that spent it was about 4 months maturing. It was when I stupidly did my Achilles tendon, if you remember, the Achilles heel. So we're only going to drink it once I'd recovered properly to be able to appreciate it. So, and that was interesting. My firm drinking, that was interesting in terms of how that matured over time. So it's another dimension to how you create different characteristics in beer is the maturation.
Brilliant. Well. If you're watching in Poland, Brains Brewery, they opened a craft brewery plant here at the main brewery 2 years ago?
2.5 years.
2.5 years ago. Time absolutely flies. They produce some fantastic beers. I think every style in the spectrum so far. They produce beers with gin lane, with you put a berry in there? In the gin lane?
Yeah, the gin lane's brewed with juniper berries.
Juniper berries, that's the one.
And a load more sort of gin essences in there as well. So.
Yeah, Belgian doubles, they brewed here, imperial stouts, you name it, they've kind of brewed it. So probably the best thing is to Google Brains Craft Brewery and you'll see the whole selection of beers that they've brewed. But yeah, Pracownia Piwa, Mr. Hard, 9.5%, really enjoyed this. Cheers, Mr. Bill Dobson, and thanks for watching.